Hello students, welcome to Gnanmanjari Vidyapeeth Online Education. I am Abhishek Goswami. I hope that you all are fine and safe at your home. So in the last lecture we completed our chapter number 11 and it is related to water resources. And in the today's lecture we will start our chapter number 6. The name of the chapter is Places of Indian Cultural Heritage. It is last chapter of our history syllabus. We saw many chapter from history and culture like chapter number 1, chapter number 2, chapter number 4 and chapter number 5. And this is the last chapter of our syllabus from history. So let's start our chapter. So first of all, I will give you introduction of the chapter. So the cultural heritage of India is very rich and prosperous. Indian as well as foreign visitors are attracted to visit the places of cultural and natural heritage of India. As we all know that our Indian culture is very rich and very prosperous, and we can see that our Indian culture is also having many diversity. So diversity are very much in our India, but unity and diversity, it is the peculiar characteristics of our Indian culture. So you must remember the cultural heritage of India is very rich, very prosperous, very diverse, but unity in diversity is the peculiar characteristics of our Indian cultural heritage. So first of all, let's learn about caves of Ajanta. So the famous caves of Ajanta are situated in Aurangabad district near Ajanta village. So you must remember the location of caves of Ajanta. So Ajanta caves of Ajanta are situated in Aurangabad district near Ajanta village, and you must remember Aurangabad district is located in Maharashtra state. Then they are important from the point of view of art of वास्तु. वास्तु के लिए अजंता caves काफ़ी important रखती है. These caves are divided into two divisions: caves based on wall paintings and caves based on sculpture. You must remember Ajanta caves are divided into two divisions: caves based on wall paintings and caves based on sculpture. Then caves of number 1, 2, 10, 16 and 17 have excellent painting wall and have attained the highest rank in wall painting. So you must remember caves of number 1, 2, 10, 16 and 17. These all caves are related to wall paintings. Then the theme of these wall paintings is Buddhist religion. So you must remember ये सभी जो वॉल पेंटिंग्स है, ये सभी जो केव्स है, ये सभी बुद्धिस्ट रिलीजन की थीम वाली है. मीन्स इसमें हमें जो थीम देखने को मिलेगी इट इज रिलेटेड टू बुद्धिस्ट रिलीजन. Then Ajanta caves are divided into two categories. They are Chaityas and Vihars. You must remember all Ajanta caves are divided into two categories. They are Chaityas and Vihar. Then cave number 9, 10, 19, 26 and 29 are Chaityas, whereas the remaining caves are Vihars. So you must remember cave number 9, 10, 19, 26 and 29 are related to Chaityas, and whereas the remaining caves are Vihars. Then Ajanta caves were forgotten with the passage of time, but in 1819 AD, an English captain John Smith rediscovered them. So Ajanta caves जब भी इसका कंस्ट्रक्शन हुआ था, धीरे धीरे उसका जो फेमसनेस है ये धीरे धीरे घटती गई थी, डिक्रीज हुई थी. बट आफ्टर 1819 AD इंग्लिश कैप्टन जॉन स्मिथ रीडिस्कवर्ड दैम. इंग्लिश कैप्टन था जॉन स्मिथ, इसने ये सभी केव्स को रीडिस्कवर किया और उसके बाद से अगेन ये केव्स है काफ़ी फेमस हो गई. So Ajanta caves are magnificent example of initial Buddhist art of Vastu, art of paintings and sculpture. So you must remember in the Ajanta caves we can see that the mixture of Buddhist art, art of paintings and art of sculpture. Human interference and impact of time have greatly damaged them. Ajanta caves are famous not only in India but also in world for their extraordinary reach art. So you must remember अजंता केव से ये हमारे इंडिया में तो फेमस है ही बट अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड इसकी रीचनेस मीन्स इसके आर्ट की रीचनेस हमें काफ़ी ज़्यादा देखने को मिलती है. दैट्स वाई अजंता केव्स आर नॉट फेमस इन इंडिया ओनली बट फेमस इन अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड. Then the fine blending of wonderful art of painting, sculpture and architecture of Ajanta caves has earned pride for an Indian art. So we can see that the mixture of many arts in the Ajanta caves, like mixture of art of painting, art of sculpture and art of architecture, we can see that in the Ajanta caves. Then next point, things to know. Chaityas means temple halls for Buddhist monks. Stupas are built in the interior most end of the caves. And vihas means Buddhist monasteries where Buddhist monks reside and study. So you must remember these three terminology. Like Chaityas, it is related to temple halls for Buddhist monks. यहाँ पर टेम्पल होते हैं, काफ़ी बड़े बड़े हॉल होते हैं. यहाँ पर बुद्धिस्ट मॉन्क के लिए प्रेयर होती है, मीन्स प्रेयर का हॉल हम कह सकते हैं. स्तूपास आर बिल्ट इन इंटीरियर मोस्ट एंड ऑफ द caves. And vihars means Buddhist monasteries where Buddhist monks reside and study. विहार एक बुद्धिस्ट मोनेस्टरी है जहाँ पर बुद्धिस्ट साधु, मॉन्क मीन्स साधु, ये सभी रहते हैं और स्टडी भी करते हैं. सो यू मस्ट रिमेंबर दिस थ्री टर्मिनोलॉजी. Then let's move to our next topic and it is Ellora Caves. So Ellora Caves are situated at Aurangabad district in Maharashtra. There are 34 caves in all. So you must remember the location of Ellora Caves. So Ellora Caves are situated at Aurangabad district in Maharashtra and total number of caves are 34. There are three groups of cave temples and they are different from each other. Like first group 1 to 12 caves are Buddhist caves, 13 to 29 are Hindu caves and 30 to 34 are Jain caves. Hindu caves are built during the reign of Rashtrakuta dynasty. You must remember 13 to 29 number of the caves are Hindu caves and it is built during reign of Rashtrakuta dynasty. Then Kailash temple is situated in cave number 16. You must remember this point, like Kailash temple is situated in cave number 16 and 13 to 29 are related to Hindu caves. And in the Hindu caves, cave number 16 is related to Kailash temple. It is 50-meter long, 33-meter wide and 30-meter high. This temple is carved out of a single massive rock. Kailash temple is carved out, means Kailash temple is made up from single massive rock. This temple is adorned with beautiful doors, balconies and series of pillars. The beauty of temple cannot be described in words. They are constructed during the time of 600 AD and 1000 AD. So this is approximately time like the construction of Ellora caves near about 600 AD to 1000 AD, means we have not find fixed time of the construction. Then it is a live display of ancient Indian civilization. Caves dedicated to Hindu, Jain and Buddhist religion. As we see that, like 1 to 12 caves are related to Buddhist caves, 13 to 29 are related to Hindu religion, 30 to 34 are related to Jain religion. So we can see that caves dedicated to Hindu, Jain and Buddhist religions. Ellora campus is not only an example of magnificent creation of art, but also best example of excellent technology. Moreover, it describes about the patience of the Indians. Then let's move to our next topic, and it is Elephanta caves. First of all, we have discussed about Ajanta caves, then we have discussed about Ellora caves, and this is Elephanta caves. These all caves are located in Maharashtra. So these caves are built in the Arabian Sea, 12 kilometers away from Mumbai in Maharashtra. So this is the location of Elephanta caves. Like these caves are built in the Arabian Sea, 12 kilometers away from Mumbai in Maharashtra. There are 7 caves in all. You must remember the numbers of the caves are located in the place. Like how many caves we can see that in the Ellora caves, in Ajanta caves and in Elephanta caves. So all numbers you must remember. Like there are 7 caves in the Elephanta caves. There is a huge stone monument of an elephant. On seeing this sculpture, the Portuguese named it Elephanta. So Elephanta name हमें किस तरीके से देखने को मिलता है? यहाँ पर एक ह्यूज स्टोन मॉन्यूमेंट है एलिफेंट का. दैट्स वाई पोर्टुगीज ने इसका नाम रख दिया था एलिफेंटा. सो एलिफेंट से ही ये केव्स का नाम पड़ा है एलिफेंटा. Then many beautiful figures have been carved. Out of them, the magnificent Trimurti temple. Trimurti temple is related to Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. In cave number 1 is the best specimen of sculpture. So, Trimurti temple, it is the speciality of Elephanta caves. Like Trimurti temple, it is related to 3 Hindu god, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, and it is located in cave number 1, and it is the best specimen of the sculpture. In 1987 AD, UNESCO has placed Elephanta cave in the list of World Heritage. So 1987 AD में यूनेस्को ने एलिफेंटा केव को वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज साइट में कंक्लूड किया था. Local fishermen called it Dharapuri. So you must remember Elephanta caves are locally known as Dharapuri. It is another name of Elephanta caves. Then let's move to our next topic, and it is Mahabalipuram. So Mahabalipuram is located 60 kilometers away from Chennai. This city of Tamil Nadu is famous for its splendid temple architecture and seashore. So what is the location of Mahabalipuram? Mahabalipuram is located 60 kilometers away from Chennai, and Chennai is famous for splendid temple architecture and seashore. Narasimhavarman I, who was popularly known as Mahamalla, belonged to Pallav dynasty. 7 chariot temples were built there. At present, only 5 chariot examples exist. 2 chariot temples have submerged in the sea. So we can see that total 7 chariot temples were built here. But now, present day, we can see that only 5 chariot temples in the Mahabalipuram. Chariot means Rath. Then there is an amazing figure of Lord Vishnu in a smiling pose. Besides, this is an idol of goddess Durga slaying Mahishasur is the worth seeing. Mahabalipuram, which is unparalleled architectural rock sculpture, was also a famous harbor of ancient time. So these are the characteristics of Mahabalipuram. Like, first of all, total seven chariot temples were there, but now present day only five chariot. We can see that two chariot temples have submerged in the sea. Then amazing figure of Lord Vishnu, you must remember it is located in Mahabalipuram. Then idol of goddess Durga slaying Mahishasur, it is a worth seeing place in the Mahabalipuram. And in ancient time, Mahabalipuram was the harbor. Harbor means port. It was famous harbor during ancient time. So you must remember about Mahabalipuram also. Then let's move to our next topic, and it is Pattadakal Memorial. So Pattadakal, the capital of Chalukya dynasty, is 16 kilometers away from Badami Nagar, and Dravid style of architecture is used in the construction of temples here. So Pattadakar Memorial, during ancient time, during Chalukya dynasty, Pattadakal was the capital of Chalukya dynasty, and it is 16 kilometers away from Badami Nagar, and Dravidian style of architecture is used in the construction of temples. These were built during the 7th and 8th century. Virupaksha temple is the biggest temple in Pattadakal. So, construction time was 7th to 8th century, and Virupaksha temple, you must remember, it is the biggest temple in Pattadakal Memorial. Then let's move to our next topic, and it is temples at Khajuraho. So these temples are located in a small village named Khajuraho at Chhatarpur district of Madhya Pradesh. So you must remember all the location that we have seen in this lecture. Like, first of all, we have discussed about Ajanta caves, Ellora caves, Elephanta caves. You must remember all the location of the places. So temples of Khajuraho are located in small village named Khajuraho at Chhatarpur district of Madhya Pradesh. Khajuraho was the ancient capital of the Chandela Rajputs of Bundelkhand. So temples were built by these kings during their reign 905 to 1050 AD. So Khajuraho was the capital city of Chandel dynasty. Chandel Rajputs of Bundelkhand, during their reign, Khajuraho was constructed. Presently, 25 temples are in existence. Nowadays, we can see that only 25 temples. Most of them are Shiv temples, means it is related to Shiv, whereas some of them are Vaishnav and Jain temples. So all temples are related to mostly two to three religion, like Shiv religion, then Vaishnav religion and Jain religion. So most of them are Shiv temples, like it is related to God Shiva. Then some of them are related to Vaishnav, and some of them related to Jain religion. They all have similar type of architecture and sculpture. The 64 Yoginis temples is the main temple of the Khajuraho. Then the Toran, the arc of the temple, is the best example of ornamental style of architecture. This is the speciality of Khajuraho. Like Toran, it is the best example of ornamental style of architecture in this temple. All of the temples were constructed with granite stone. For the construction of temples, granite stone were used for the construction. Khajuraho temples were constructed in Nagar style of art, Nagar style art of culture, and art of Vastu of Khajuraho temples spellbound the visitors. So Nagar style art of sculpture. We can see that the art of sculpture style is Nagar style, and art of Vastu of Khajuraho temples spellbound the visitors. Then let's move to our next topic, and it is Sun Temple of Konark. So it is situated near the Bay of Bengal at Puri district in Odisha. It was constructed in 13th century during the reign of King Narsivarman I, who belonged to Garg dynasty. So first of all, you must remember it is situated near the Bay of Bengal in Puri district. Then it was constructed by the King Narsivarman I. He was belonged to Garg dynasty. Then this chariot temple, drawn by 7 horses, took the form of chariot of sun god. It has 12 massive wheels providing beauty to the pedestal of the temple. These wheels reflect 12 months, and each wheel has 8 spokes, which shows 8 prahars of the day. So total 12 massive wheels we can see that in Sun Temple of Konark. These 12 massive wheels related to 12 months, like it reflect 12 months, and each wheel has 8 spokes, and it shows 8 prahars of the day. Then details of motif and subject diversity of this temple is unparalleled. This temple has been built by black stones, hence it is called as Black Pagoda, Odisha. So you must remember the construction of this temple was made by black stones. That's why it is also known as Black Pagoda. Then this remains reflects the sculpture and civilization of 13th century Odisha. So Narsivarman I and Garg dynasty, it is related to 13th century in Odisha. In Odisha it is very famous dynasty. So this remains reflects the sculpture and civilization of 13th century Odisha. Then let's move to our next topic, and it is Brihadeshwar temple. So this temple is located at Tanjore in Tamil Nadu. This temple was built in during 1003 AD to 1010 AD. It is a Shiva temple, so it is called Brihadeshwar, and it is built by King Rajaraja I of Chola dynasty. That's why it is known as Rajarajeshwar temple. First of all, you must remember the location of Brihadeshwar temple. It is located at Tanjore in Tamil Nadu, and this temple was built during 1003 AD to 1010 AD, and it is Shiva temple. It is related to God Shiva. That's why it is known as Brihadeshwar temple, and it was built by King Rajaraja I of Chola dynasty. That's why this temple is also known as Rajarajeshwar temple. Then the height of this temple is 500 feet, its width is about 250 feet, and it is spread in a vast area surrounded by the wall. Its summit, it, its summit is 200 feet high above the ground. Hence, this temple attained the place in the temples of high pinnacles. So this is the figure of the temple. Like the height of temple is about 500 feet, the width of the temple is about 250 feet, and its summit is about 200 feet. This is a marvelous heritage of architectural art of India due to its gorgeous and huge size of pinnacle and artistic decoration. In the same way, it has secured a place among the best temples of the South India. It has been constructed in Dravidian style of art. You must remember, it has been constructed in Dravidian style. Then let's move to our next topic and it is Qutub Minar. So Qutub Minar is located at Delhi. It was built in the 12th century by Qutbuddin Aibak, who was the founder of Ghulam dynasty. First of all, Qutub Minar is located at Delhi. Location you must remember. Then second point, it was built in 12th century by Qutbuddin Aibak, and you must remember Qutbuddin Aibak was the founder of Ghulam dynasty. Qutbuddin Aibak was the first Sultan of Delhi Sultanate, and first dynasty of Delhi Sultanate was Ghulam dynasty. After his death, the remaining work was completed by his son-in-law Iltutmish. Qutbuddin Aibak constructed two, uh, only half part of the Qutub Minar. So the remaining work was completed by his son-in-law Iltutmish. Iltutmish is also related to Ghulam dynasty. This 72.5-meter tall skyscraper is made out of round red stone and marble. It was made by round red stone and marble. Its circumference is 13.75 meter at its base and it is reduced to 2.75 meter at its top. So बेस की ओर बात करें तो बेस में इसका सरकमफेरेंस है 13.75 मीटर, बट जैसे ही हम अपर साइड आगे बढ़ते हैं इसका सरकमफेरेंस हो जाता है 2.75 मीटर. Verses of Quran have been engraved on it. It is tallest stone minaret of India. So verses of Quran have been engraved on it. We can see that verses of Quran on Qutub Minar, and it is the tallest stone minaret of India. You must remember, it is the tallest stone minaret of India. It is the speciality of Qutub Minar. Then let's move to our next place and it is Hampi. So this town is situated on the bank of river Tungabhadra of Hospet in Bellary district of Karnataka. Hampi is situated on the bank of river Tungabhadra and it is located in Bellary district of Karnataka. Hampi was the capital city of Vijayanagar kingdom. You must remember it is related to history. Like Hampi was the capital city of Vijayanagar kingdom, and Nagar kingdom, it is South Indian dynasty. Then the rulers of Vijayanagar kingdom were lovers of art. Peculiar type of architecture was developed in Vijayanagar during their reign. The period of Krishna Dev Rai was considered to be the golden period of this art, as it reached to highest peak. You must remember, period of Krishna Dev Rai was the golden period of Vijayanagar kingdom. Then the main feature of architecture style of Vijayanagar was to carve out huge and magnificent pillars from the stones. So you must remember it is the main feature of architecture style of Vijayanagar, like carve out huge and magnificent pillars from the stones. Then pillars and columns made were artistically adorned with the figures of God, goddess, humans, animals, warriors and dancers. In Hampi village of Vijayanagar kingdom, during the reigns of Krishna Dev Rai, the Vithala temple and Hajra temples were built besides it. Virupaksha temple, Achyutarai temple of Lord Krishna are the best examples of architecture. So Hampi is the city, like Hampi was the capital city of Vijayanagar, and in the Hampi city we can see that many architectural work, like first of all we have seen that many pillars and columns were made artistically adorned with the figures of gods, goddess, humans, animals, warriors and dancers. Then besides the Hampi city we can see that Vithala temple and Hajra temple, then Virupaksha temple, Achyutarai temple of Lord Krishna, we can see that in the Hampi village. So these all temples you must remember, and these all are best examples of architecture in the Krishna Dev Rai reign, like during the Krishna Dev Rai reign. Then let's move to our next place, and it is Humayun's tomb. So tomb of Humayun at Delhi is the best specimen of Mughal architecture. After the death of Humayun, it was built by his wife Queen Hamida Bano Begum. This tomb was made in Iranian style of art. Red and white stones were skillfully used in it. So Humayun's tomb, it is located at Delhi, and it is the best specimen of Mughal architecture. It was built by a wife of Humayun, name is Hamida Bano Begum, and it was made in Iranian style of art. Red and white stones were skillfully used in it. Then let's move to our next place. It is Fort of Agra. So Fort of Agra is in the Agra city of Uttar Pradesh. It is made up of red stones, hence it is known as Red Fort. So Fort of Agra, it is located in Agra, city of the Uttar Pradesh, and it is made up by red stones. It was built by Akbar in 1565 AD. It was built by Akbar. Then we can see the reflection of Hindu and Iranian style of art in it. So Fort of Agra, the architectural style, it is Hindu and Iranian style. The fort has 70 feet tall wall with 1.5-mile circumference. Red stones are skillfully embedded on the wall in such a way that no cracks can be seen on the wall. Jahangir Palace was built by Akbar in this fort. The architectural style of Bengal and Gujarat on Jahangir Palace can be seen clearly. Shah Jahan had spent last days of his life in this fort. So it is very historical fort of Agra. Like first of all, it was built by Akbar in 1565 AD. And in the fort we can see that the architectural style is Hindu and Iranian style. Then the fort has 70 feet tall wall with 1.5-mile circumference. Then it was made up by red stones. In the fort of Agra we can see that Jahangir Palace. Then Jahangir Palace, after Jahangir Palace, Shah Jahan had spent last days of his life in this fort. So this was very historical fort related to Mughal dynasty. Then let's move to our next place, and it is Taj Mahal. So Taj Mahal is located at Agra in Uttar Pradesh on the bank of river Yamuna. Taj Mahal is one of the seven wonders of the world. So first of all, Taj Mahal is located at Agra. Agra Fort is also located at Agra. So you must remember from Agra to different places like Taj Mahal and Agra Fort. And both places are located at bank of river Yamuna. Taj Mahal is one of the seven wonders of the world. You must remember, Taj Mahal is included in the seven wonders of the world. It was constructed by Mughal king Shah Jahan in the memory of his queen Mumtaz Mahal. Agra Fort was constructed by Akbar, but Taj Mahal was constructed by Mughal king Shah Jahan in the memory of his queen Mumtaz Mahal. Mumtaz Mahal died in 1630 AD. After her death, the construction of Taj Mahal started in 1630 AD. It was completed in 1653 AD after 22 years. Shah Jahan used expert Indian sculptors besides Iranians, Arabian, Turkish and European sculptors. Artisans were also engaged in the construction of Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is counted as one of the best tombs in the world. Due to this tomb, name of Mumtaz Mahal has become immortal. This was the innermost wish of Shah Jahan. The building of Taj Mahal is spread in rectangular shape from north to south. The grave of Mumtaz lies in the center of Taj. So, Taj Mahal construction was started in 1631 AD, but it was completed in 1653 AD after 22 years. And Shah Jahan used expert like Indian sculptures as well as Iranian, Arabian, Turkish and European sculptures. Then Taj Mahal is counted as one of the best tombs of the world. And due to this tomb, the name of Mumtaz Mahal has become immortal. And it was the innermost wish of Shah Jahan. Taj Mahal is in the rectangular shape from north to south. It is direction of Taj Mahal. Then the grave of Mumtaz lies in the center of Taj. Grave means उसका शव, मुमताज का शव ताज महल के सेंटर में हमें देखने को मिलता है. It is surrounded by beautiful artistic octagonal fence carved out of stone. A beautiful saying is inscribed on the of its arc, like pious hearts are welcomed in the garden of paradise. This famous sentence you must relate it. This sentence is related to Taj Mahal. This sentence inscribed on the one of its arc, like in the entrance of the Taj Mahal, we can see that this sentence. The architecture of Taj glorifies the rich heritage of India. The grandeur of Taj attracts thousands of people every year. So Taj Mahal is the famous place of India. It is a World Heritage Site also. It was made by Shah Jahan. The construction of Taj Mahal was started in 1631 AD and it was completed in 1653 AD. The time duration for the construction of Taj Mahal, it is about 22 years, and for the construction of Taj Mahal, Shah Jahan used expert Indian sculptures, Iranian, Arabian, Turkish and European sculptures also. Then Taj Mahal is best tombs of the world. You must remember Taj Mahal is counted as one of the best tombs of the world. And in the Taj Mahal, the grave of Mumtaz, we can see that. Then this beautiful sentence, pious hearts are welcomed in the garden of the paradise. This sentence you must remember, it is related to Taj Mahal. So this is about our today's video. In this video, we have discussed about some famous places of India. Like first of all, we have discussed about Ajanta caves. Then we have discussed about Ellora caves, Elephanta caves. Then we have discussed about some famous places of South India like Mahabalipuram, Khajuraho, Pattadakal temple, then Konark Sun temple. Then we have discussed about Brihadeshwar Mandir, and in the last we have discussed about Red Fort, Humayun's tombs, and in the last we have discussed about Taj Mahal. So I hope you understood very well about all the points, all the topics, all the places of this lecture. And if you have any doubts regarding all the topic, you can ask me anytime. So now this is end of the video. In the next video, we will move further in the chapter. So have a nice day and thank you for watching this video.